HMS Caroline is the only surviving British vessel from the First World War. In 1916, it took part in the most significant naval battle, the Battle of Jutland.
She's been here for 90% of her life. In 2 years' time she'll be 100 years old, and she's still very much intact. She's authentic. She's built in the same style that the big ocean liners were built, the Titanic in particular. You can go and see and feel and touch rivets, whereas it's not something in a film. It's real life. This is the real thing. It has to be part of a bigger picture. It has to be we refer to it as the gem and the crown, but it needs the crown as well. And I think we've got it all there now, because you've got 500,000 people visiting the Titanic building.
The light cruiser from World War I, built in 1914. The keel was laid in January 1914, the 28th to be exact, and she was launched the 21st of September 1914, and she was commissioned into the Royal Navy in December of 1914. So she's actually holds the record for the fastest build of a major warship.
So this was the galley for the whole crew?
There was a smaller galley aft for the wardroom.
Yeah.
But basically this was the main galley. So the complement was between 289 to 325. So there's a book about the Caroline, so you're looking at the best part of 900 metres being built for speed. Yeah. So from here you can sort of see it in the frames here.
So in terms of the restoration, I mean, has somebody actually got a really clear plan of how to restore this?
The museum, there's a company that's been working on it for the last year. Until they actually had made a decision to keep it in Belfast, I think the plans, if it had went to Portsmouth, the plans would have been different. I think they would actually put the whole superstructure on the outside back to original 1914.
Right.
Because it's staying here, it sort of has to earn its keep more. And they're keeping that as a function. If you have functions, right. Now you'll see the first wee liner. That's the main. That's the plate, overall plate, which is 1/2 inch, and then that's part of the armoured belt. So in some places the armoured belt's 4 inches thick, tapering down to 1.5 inches at the keel. That gives you an idea of the thickness in places. Like the role of Caroline during the Second World War was she was a depot ship for some of the escorts for the convoys. There was a lot of the escorts, smaller armed trawlers and stuff were based in Belfast. So she was the depot ship for that. And the Admiral of the Port, this was his accommodation for the first 2 years before they moved to Belfast Castle. And by the end of the war there was so many thousand sailors based around Belfast in different locations, but most of them all wore Caroline cap badges, so they were associated with the ship. Now, going through here, from this ladder here to the next ladder, this was the forward engine room. So this is where she had 8 boilers. So this was all taken out between 24 and 26 and converted into more classroom space.
Okay, all right. This isn't my working comment. Does it? Yeah.
She's 4 turbines. They're Parsons turbines, and in its day these were revolutionary. Like Parsons turbines revolutioned propulsion at sea, compared to the other engines. So these are the only set still left in a ship anywhere in the world.
Right.
Obviously there's some versions of them in museums, so this is unique too. She's the only ship left with a set of Parsons. What we have is she has 4 screws, so there's 1 turbine per screw. So what you have in the middle here is a condenser.
Right.
Where the steam is cooled back to hot water, and it was pumped forward again to the boilers, and then reheated into steam. So it's like a closed loop system.
Mm-hmm.
Does she move much?
Does she move?
At least 2 in each way. There would have been obviously like a PO or something in charge of them, or something like that along the lines. Or if you're in a narrow channel, in case you lost steering, because you'd obviously have to react quickly.
Yes. And then this is the controls coming from the bridge to tell them what to steer.
Yes.
That'll be all mechanical,
yes.
All the way to the bridge through shafts and gears.
And some of them come forward compartment from here, some of them through the storage, you still see a certain amount of it. So obviously some of it's been cut away. Plus the fact is, it's all armoured the whole way around to give it more protection.
The dials are on the walls, that would tell you.
Yes, I see that.
Probably all make more sense because this would be like tourist. There was originally what they call like a conning tower was in front of this bridge, and that was removed and one of the refits during the war. So the wheel was in there, and there was one couple of decks down, and so obviously they steered from one couple of deck down. They took it away. You know, like 2 steel balls for adjusting the kind of feet.
Compensates for the ship.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you know, it's certainly an absolute treasure. And in terms of highlights, well, there's loads of highlights.
Yeah.
I know that certainly those boilers down there, the engines, that was really interesting. Turbines, the wheel room at the back underneath. I don't know what the correct term is.
The tiller flat.
Yeah,
The tiller flat.
the tiller. Yeah, and
There's a steering compartment. There's the
yeah,
technical
and you know, there's just so many things, and I think it's a real conundrum. What do you keep, you know, in terms of them for some?
This gives you the opportunity for corporate functions, weddings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of marriages made.
I'm sure.
It didn't actually take place on board, but there's a lot of marriages made on board the Caroline.
I'm sure.
So, quite a few divorces as well.
But like again, a big thanks to you all.
Sure, you have some extra.
Well,
Different for the
We've enough cameras anyway. We're trying to get enough a few photos.